All right, my friend, you are live.
After two dominating wins to start off the season, Lane Tech flag football heads home for the first time this year as they look for a homecoming win against the Senn Bulldogs. Senn kicking off their season for the first time here today at Lane Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us alongside Tony McHale. My name's Alex Burstein. And Tony, we have a very fun matchup ahead of us here today at Lane Stadium.
It's exciting. Hopefully, Alex, that somebody puts on a different colored jersey because you're going to have a tough time calling the green with white stripes on both sides.
Yeah, we have two green uniforms for today's game. We may see some pennies come on, who knows, but either way, we will see some action most likely in about 10 minutes or so, scheduled for a 9 a.m. kickoff here in game one of a homecoming doubleheader here for Lane Tech. This is the second game this week for Lane Tech. Game one was a 28-6 win against Schurz, and Tony, I know you were at that game. What were some of the keys for Lane Tech in that win?
Some great second half play, Alex, and that's what we saw in week one versus Amundsen. A little bit of a slow start for the champions, but they came on strong in the second half. They got down early to Schurz, didn't panic, and Marissa Yulee with 3 touchdown passes led them to what turned out to be a dominating 28-7 win.
Yeah, Marissa Yulee, really the player to watch in tonight's game. She comes into tonight's matchup with 8 throwing touchdowns. She's also rushed one in. She's been the QB1 all season. She's just been so impressive. What's been so good about her play early on this year?
She's very calm in the pocket. It's a 3-second rush here in flag football, so you'll hear the referee count out 1, 2, 3. But right now, Coach has her standing in the pocket, reading her 6 receivers as they go out, and she's been able to find the open receiver without trying to force the ball into coverage.
It's been very impressive with these Lane Tech players. A lot of them playing this sport organized for the first time, but they've adapted to it very well. This Senn Bulldogs team does have a little more experience. They returned about a third of their team from last year. This is the second year that the Public League has offered flag football, and Senn was part of that inaugural season. So we will see a little more experience out of the Bulldogs. However, Lane Tech, this is their third game of the season. This is the first for Senn, and that's going to be definitely something to keep in mind here today. Tony, do you have any keys to the game here for Lane Tech?
I think the keys to the game are I'd like to see them get off a little faster start than they have these first 2 games, Alex. Get Marissa Yulee involved right away. We talk about dual threat in tackle football. She's the ultimate dual threat here in flag football. You're allowed to take off and run unless you're within 5 yards of the first down marker. So she's got some scramble ability. Where Lane Tech saw some success on Tuesday was when they went to some shorter throws and got some yards after catch. One of the touchdowns was to Eliza McHale, was just a little wheel route where she ran about 25 yards for a touchdown. So maybe don't look early for some of those deeper routes. Go short. Pick up the yards. It's 20 yards for a first down, and just get some momentum and go that way.
Okay, so it's going to be maybe some varying plays we see out of Lane Tech here today. I talked with head coach Susan Kenny for this Senn Bulldogs team, and she said the keys for this Senn squad is going to be they're really going to try to limit the number of plays Lane Tech had, which is kind of the opposite of what you were saying there, but they're also just want to give their quarterback, who we're not sure who's going to be the QB1 tonight, but give their quarterback some time here to run the plays that Senn has had in practice, which is going to be interesting to see if the Lane Tech defense allows them to do that here. We have about 7 minutes to go until kickoff. Both teams are at their sidelines, so I'm not sure if we're getting started early or if these teams are just taking a breather before, I don't know, what do you call it here, kickoff? Or
Kickoff, yeah, placing the ball on the 20-yard line. I will tell you that on Tuesday, the game started 10 minutes early.
Okay.
So I thought I was ready, and then they're like, okay, we're going right now. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. At least on Tuesday, Lane Tech played a combination of man-to-man and zone defense. They switched it up a little bit. One of the benefits of playing zone, especially when the quarterback can run as easily as she can in flag football, is keeping your eyes forward. If you're playing man-to-man, you're going to turn your back or run with your receiver. Playing zone, you're looking at the quarterback trying to defend an area. So I think that's beneficial if you have a quarterback that's going to take off and run. I'm so glad you got the Senn roster because they're going to cover up those numbers with those pennies. And
very helpful. But so we'll have some no-name players here for the Bulldogs. It looks like they are covering up their numbers. We will have the roster for Lane Tech, of course. But either way, we'll have some action in just a couple of minutes as they walk those pennies over to the Senn Bulldogs players.
Just looking at the Senn uniforms, though, Alex, I think you would have had a problem with the navy blue on green numbers. So we need to talk to the coach and ask her to get new uniforms with white numbers.
Definitely, definitely. Lane Tech does have their white numbers on these green uniforms, as you can see on your screen. So that does make it a little bit easier for us to identify these Lane Tech players. So other than Marissa Yulee, who are some players here to watch for tonight's matchup?
It's going to be interesting. The champions are missing a couple players that were key in the 2 early wins. But Eliza McHale plays both ways. She is the safety on defense, caught a touchdown pass on Tuesday. And Tiffany Varro had a couple big plays. Anita Crejo, number 1, had a huge opening run in the second half last week, went 80 yards for a touchdown, kind of put the game out of reach. It put the champions up 20-7, 20-6. So there's some speed in the backfield. Through the first 2 games, we haven't seen a ton of trickeration. So there's some straight runs, but no flea flickers, no nothing. Coach is playing it pretty straightforward, has a traditional playbook. So I think you're going to see some new players out there tonight just because of there's some ACT questions today. You know, the schedule just came out a couple weeks ago. ACTs were playing last May. But I think Sophie Hong, number 18, got some quality time last week. Ruby Manisis, number 17, got some time. So Coach was trying to, especially in the second half, run some different defenders out there, got some different girls involved on the offensive side. I think the key is 7 players on the field, but all 6 go out in the pattern. So you're not having anybody staying in block, so anybody can be a factor at any time.
Yeah, and a quick roster note for those of you tuning in. We entering this week, Florencia Fabian was listed as a manager. She's going to come into tonight's game as number 10. So that's a quick roster note here for tonight's matchup. So there are some new players on the roster, some jersey changes, but overall a pretty similar looking team for Lane Tech, as we saw in their first 2 matchups, which, as we said earlier, were a 44-0 win against Amundsen to start off the season, and then a 28-6 win against Schurz earlier on Tuesday. So this is going to be game 3 of the season for Lane, and then they have a week off before facing off at Horner Park against North Grand next Saturday. Been off and on with busy schedule and kind of a light schedule here for Lane Tech, but it seems like they've done a good job adapting to whenever they're playing.
Right. Coach is actively out there still trying to get some games. She wants her team to have as many games as they can going into the playoffs, which will be the 2nd and 3rd week of October. So I tried to go find the conferences. I guess there's 4 conferences this year among the 50 teams. Senn and Amundsen are in the Lane Tech conference. But I couldn't find CPL has a brand new website, but they didn't have up yet the breakdown of divisions for the team. So Back of the Yards is a defending champion, so we probably wouldn't see them until middle of October, unless it would be some sort of scrimmage game. But Coach wants to get as many games in there and really build this program not only for this year but going into the year's future.
Yeah, and I know this game was actually originally supposed to be against Kevlin Park for Lane, and then some sort of schedule shift means instead they're playing against Senn. I'm not sure where Kevlin Park was, but Senn, a slightly closer matchup geographically here for Lane Tech.
Yeah, I heard Kevlin ended up not being able to field a team, unfortunately.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so I guess that will be why, but Senn is able to come in for the backup team here for the homecoming weekend for Lane Tech. This is the first time Lane is going to be playing on the Lane Stadium turf. The only time they're scheduled to play here for an actual game so far, but maybe in playoffs or later in the season. But this is not Lane Tech's first time playing on a good field like this. They played at Winnemac, so they do have some experience under their belts playing on this type of stadium.
And, Alex, I'm waiting for your comment. So for the first time in your 4 years, you can actually see the scoreboard. There's a brand new, beautiful scoreboard here at Lane Stadium.
Yes, I'm not sure if there could have been a better gift for my senior year. We can actually see the down, the time, and the score of a game accurately here with the new Chicago Public League Lane Stadium scoreboard, and then right next to it as Fritz Pollard Field. I don't think the official dedication has happened. That's coming up in a couple of weeks, but the Public League has done a really excellent job of trying to keep this Lane Stadium new, keep the classic parts of it, but they're really trying to update it, and it's a really good look here for the Public League as we kick off the 2022 flag and tackle football seasons here at Lane Stadium.
Yeah, I think I counted. I think including this one, there's 8 football games here from Thursday through tonight. So it was about time that they got a scoreboard that people could actually read.
Yeah, they've really been jam-packing it in, and now I guess with flag football, that's going to probably even add some games. Soccer plays here too, lacrosse in the spring, so very busy always here at Lane Stadium, and they're giving some final improvements to it. It looks like we did just have a coin toss there at midfield. I'm not sure which team won it. We will see which the offense or defense heads out onto the field for Lane Sack.
It looks like we might have the ball, Alex. I see Marissa Yulee grabbing a football and heading down towards the 20.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to see the Lane Tech offense to start off the game here today. They'll be on the 20-yard line in their own half. So as Tony mentioned earlier, 20 yards for a first down. So they'll need 4 first downs, I guess, to get a touchdown here. And we'll see what this offense can do. Lane's offense has just been so strong here today. They've had a variety of players catching touchdowns, rushing in touchdowns, but obviously at the heart of that lineup, as we mentioned, Marissa Yulee, who's just been so impressive as the QB1 for Lane Tech this season.
Yeah, she was. So the game against Amundsen was actually sponsored by CPL and the Chicago Bears, and CPL did a great job making a big deal out of the opening of this second season. And Marissa was the MVP of that game with 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah, I mean, 5 touchdown passes in one game, that's just about as good as it gets here.
In a 40-minute running clock kind of game, that's...
Yeah, these games go quite quickly. It's going to be about 20 minutes running. Last minute or so will get changed, as it looks like we're just ready to get going here at Lane Stadium. Marissa Yulee takes the first snap. This one's going to be passed shortly to Thirdborough, who gets a couple of yards here on the first throw of the game.
Yeah, I think that just slipped through her hands there, Alex.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, she was wide open right there on the hash marks, but I think she turned her head a little bit upfield before she secured the ball.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 20 here for Lane Sack. So I'm guessing you go for 4th down every single time here with no punting?
There was punting.
Okay. As Yulee fires a shot up the field, a receiver open. That's going to be grabbed there. Looks like by Maggie Yost, number 20, and an excellent first down throw there as Lane Sack gets their first down of the day.
And a great ball by Yulee, about 25 yards in the air, right on the numbers to Yost. So the other thing, Alex, is the first down markers are set, right? The 40, the 20, and the goal line. So now it's really only 1st and 15.
Okay, so that's going to be helpful for Lane Tech here. On these first 2 passing plays, they've had a receiver open fairly quickly there. Lane Tech's doing a good job with their receivers of just getting open here. We'll see if they can keep that going down the field, as they're going to now have, it's like 1st down and 14 yards from their own 46-yard line, as Yulee takes the snap back, going to throw a pass right to her right-hand side here to Allison Vanna, who goes for a couple of yards there before getting snapped.
I think one thing to watch out, and we'll see if Coach Shorts can see it from her viewpoint, Alex, is that there's 2 safeties for Senn, but once the ball is snapped, if somebody runs a short route, everybody comes up to that short route. So there's some balls over the top that if Yulee and Coach Schwartz can see it, that are going to be big plays.
That's kind of what we saw a couple plays ago when they went long to about the 46-yard line, as they were able to find that long passing play. As 2nd down here, Yulee fires one off. This one wide open and caught right on the ground there by number 6, Allison Vanna, and a beautiful throw there by Yulee once again.
And exactly what we're talking about. They're usually in the zone, the gaps are kind of in the flats in front of the secondary and behind the linebackers. Right now with the way Senn's creeping up, you had 2 receivers because on the other side, you had Michaela Brown was open on the same route. So, but 3rd down here in about 11.
First down.
Oh, no, first down.
Yeah,
Sorry, they had to get to the 40.
1st down and 11 here for Lane Sack. And going with the passing play every single time. Yulee now running to her right. She's going to throw on the run. This one a little bit too short. That would have probably got them 1st and goal, but instead it will drop for a 2nd down here.
And I think this is exactly what Coach Schwartz was looking for, a quick start, get some easy pass completions. Yulee 3 for 5 right now, so she appears to be on mark early in the morning. It's still 9 o'clock, and these are high school students, so I'm not sure what time Coach had them here, but way earlier than I wanted to be up.
2nd down and 11 now here for Lane Tech. Yulee not going to rush this time, it looks like. Throws it right up the middle. This one off the hands there of Yost, and that will bring up now 3rd down and 11 here for Lane Tech, kind of their first long yardage situation.
Looks like the ball's just slipping out of Yuli's hands a little bit. The first couple throws were really crisp, and the last 2 have just floated a little bit, been a little bit short. Yost had to come back for that one.
Lane Tech has been working their passes to the center and to the sides here early on. 16:20 to go in the first half of play. As Yuli, a little bit of a different formation here for Lane Tech. She's going to go right to Vanna here on the left-hand side. She's still running, but gets the flag pulled at the 24-yard line. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 4 yards now. We'll see what Lane Tech does here.
I think you're going for it. There is no field goal, so.
It's been interesting.
And so now the rule kicks in where Yuli can't run.
Okay.
So you're within 5 yards of the first down marker. So this has to be a pass play. But I think, that we've seen enough quick open receivers right here that Lane Tech should be able to pick this up.
Yeah, that last play with Vanna running right behind her worked out pretty well for Lane Tech. As Yuli's going to step back, throwing looks like this one to the end zone. That one goes right through the hands there of Zamaya Mack, and it will be a turnover on downs on the first possession here for Lane Tech.
Yep, so this is where I was confused. The clock continues to tick, so it is a true running clock. And Senn is going to take over exactly where Lane Tech left off. So a promising drive, but it stalled on the 30-yard line or the 25-yard line.
Yeah, they were completing those passes a lot early, and then it kind of slowed down there at the very end. But now we'll see what the defense can do. For those of you just joining us, we do have pennies on the Senn players here, which are covering up all their numbers, so we will not be able to identify the Senn players. Apologies for that, but we will be able to identify the Lane Tech defense at least here as we see Senn take the ball for the first time this season. This is actually their first time all year they are playing a game 2 weeks later than Lane Tech, almost 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if they come out fresh or if they look a little slow compared to Lane Tech, who already has some experience under their belts.
Yeah, only 11 Senn players dressed today, Alex. A little tough to practice full-on 7-on-7.
As we'll see the first snap here for Senn. They're going to go for rushing play on first down, and still on the run here, coming to the sideline. And I think she has finally got her flag pulled, but a nice pickup there on first down. We'll see where they mark her, but that very well could have gotten to the 40-yard line for a first down. Yeah,
some missed flag pulls there. Ali Vanna had her stopped almost for no gain, but was missing the flag. So we'll have to see if this is a Senn rushing attack and what adjustments Lane Tech can make, or if they will throw the ball, put the ball in the air.
Yeah, that was interesting. We saw no rushing plays from Lane Tech on their first trip up the field, but we see one on the first play here from the Senn Bulldogs. They did end up marking it at about the 37, so it's going to be 2nd down and 3 now for Senn. QB under center, takes a snap, looking to her right-hand side. Now almost fumbles it looked like. They're going to go for an incomplete pass.
So no fumbles in flag football. It'll be placed where it is, but as soon as the ball hits the ground, it's dead.
Okay.
So you can't force a fumble, and I'm not sure about the interception rule. We had Lane Tech in an interception on Tuesday, but they whistled the play dead as soon as it was intercepted. So Lane Tech got the ball, but there was no return, so not sure.
That was some nice pressure there from Sophie Hong. We'll see if they can do it again. Another rushing attack, and Hong gets it right in front of the first down marker, and this is going to bring up a 4th down and looks like 1 yard here for Senn.
Yeah, great play by Hong. There was a lot of running space for the quarterback on that left side, so if she hadn't got that ball would have been out to the 50 or 45-yard line of Lane Tech.
So now with the 4th yard within 5, they're going to have to pass it. We've only seen 1 pass attempt here from Senn in this first quarter, so we'll see what they can do here. They're going to have to get away from that run play they had in the first quarter. QB under center. They're going to hand it off. Hong there again, and she gets it.
Great play by Sophie Hong.
She's been very impressive with that rush defense here today as she gets her, I think, 3rd flagpole of that drive, and it's going to be a turnover on downs here, and Lane Tech is going to have excellent field position here with 12:08 to go in quarter number 1.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch it, Alex. Not really one drop back for Senn. The ball fell out of the quarterback's hands. Everything else was a run, so Lane Tech will have to make some adjustments based on that.
They were having some success there after the first play of stopping that run defense, though. So if they can keep that up, that's a good sign here for Lane Tech as Marissa Yulee is going to line up with someone behind her for the first time here tonight and fakes the handoff, falls with that one, and they're going to mark her down here at the, see where they mark her down. Yes, that's going to be a loss of yardage here on first down, and Lane Tech's now going to have a 2nd and 22 from the Bulldogs' 42-yard line. That was the first kind of try at play action. They do something similar here. Yulee rushing to her right, her first run play of the night. She's at the 30 and still on her feet. Finally gets it pulled around the 20-yard line. Excellent first rush play of the day here for Lane Tech.
So it's tough. There's only one referee, one official out here today, Alex. So how he spots the ball when it's 20 yards downfield, but great run by Yulee, gets inside to the 19, and that's a first down, new set of downs.
So I guess you'd consider this first down and goal now since it's within the 20. Usually this would just be a red zone, but it's going to be first down and goal now for Lane Tech from their own 19-yard line. They got near this area last time, didn't get within the 20 before turnover on downs. As Yulee looking to her left-hand side, open receiver in for a touchdown.
Eliza McHale with her second touchdown of the season.
Got wide open there in the end zone, and that is exactly what you want to see if you are a Lane Tech fan. Lane has had open receivers all day long, and they're finally able to find one in the end zone as Lane Tech takes a 6-0 lead with 10:20 to go here in half number one, I should say. And it looks like the clock is still running, which was your question if it is going to. So it is going to be a running clock even after the touchdowns.
So extra points here, Alex. 5 yard from the 5-yard line is worth 1. From the 8-yard line is worth 2.
So it looks like Lane Tech going for a 2-point conversion here. Yulee hands it off. Then they're going to, looks like they were going to hand it off again. They won't. Instead, rushing to the end zone is Mack, who gets in for the score. That's going to be a 2-point conversion, and Lane Tech now takes an 8-0 lead here in the first half.
Nifty little move by Mack. They have some dance moves down there, Alex. So nifty move by Mack, though. She was going for the pylon in the far corner. Cornerback came over, cut her off. She was able to slide inside and just avoid that flag pull and sneak into the end zone. So big drive, big defensive stop, nice touchdown for the champions.
And that was good to see. Lane Tech had really primarily gone with passing for their first couple of plays, but we saw that big run by Yulee, and now we see Mack getting into the run game. So that's definitely a positive here for the champions as we reach the 9-minute mark to go in half number one. And Senn was not able to get into the Lane Tech half on their first trip up the field here. We'll see if they can do it again. They went with that rushing attack a lot their first time up. How do you think the Lane Tech defense can adjust here in the second drive?
I think maybe you leave 2 people up, one Hong and another player, just to guard either side of that line.
Sophomore Sophie Hong was very impressive on the last drive as there's going to be a short pass here, almost intercepted. There was about 4 Lane Tech players around that one Senn player, and just no chance of a catch there.
So Max taking it from the sideline. I'm not sure what the rules are. I think she could have intercepted that, but she went for the early flag pull, and the coach was like, "The ball's there. Get the ball first, flag second." So second down for the Senn Bulldogs.
Second down and 20 from their own 20-yard line. I think we've seen one completed pass, maybe none here from Senn.
None so far.
No passing plays completed for the Bulldogs as we're going to see another rushing play. And Sophie Hong came out of nowhere there for the flag pull. She had kind of gotten pulled to the right-hand side, but still able to get the quarterback for the pull.
So there's not supposed to be blocking in flag football, but one of the Senn players was running a little bit of interference for her quarterback. But that's what I was talking about. If you bring a second player up to that line, then you're forcing the quarterback kind of make a decision, and you have either side blocked. It doesn't look like she's going to complete anything long. So you could probably bring Allie Vanna maybe who's up there, or Ivy Thornborough, up to the line a little bit closer.
So that does go for a 7-yard gain here as this one thrown right into the middle. Intercepted here by Eliza McHale. She's still running. This could be a touchdown at the 15. Open end zone in for the touchdown.
I think she got stopped just short, maybe at the 2-yard line.
At the 2-yard line. Almost a pick six, but an excellent interception there for Lane Tech. We've seen all these throws by Senn just go into where Lane Tech has a handful of players. They're going to mark her down, looks like maybe the 2 or 3 yard line, but either way, Lane Tech close to taking a big lead. Scoreboard has it at 14-0, but
that's well, that's yeah. It looks like they put the ball at the 4. I think she didn't realize the Senn player was that close behind her. But that's what we're talking about. There was 4 Lane Tech players around there. Ball just kind of floating in the air. So I think you just shut off the run and you can defend the pass with 5.
It's been working for Lane Tech here, so they will have a little bit of room as they try to score from the Bulldogs' 4-yard line. 6:08 to go in the first half. Yulee looking up the middle. This one caught for a touchdown. Lane Tech takes the 14-0 lead. That one was caught by Chloe Trotter there right in the front part of the end zone.
And this is what we talked, Alex, earlier about getting everybody involved. Trotter didn't play a ton or didn't catch a lot of passes on Tuesday. So coach is trying to get everybody in there because you never know who's going to make an impact in this game because everybody's an eligible receiver.
That's actually going to be her first touchdown of the season for Trotter here, as looks like they're going for 2 points again to try to go up 16-0. Yulee throws back of the end zone. This one a little too high, though, and instead it will go to 14-0 here.
Yeah, just had a couple wide receivers. Yulee just a little over the head of Evie Varga in the back corner of the end zone.
So it'll be a 14-0 lead for Lane Tech. 5 minutes to go in the first half of play here. The offense has been impressive, but I'd say so far the Lane Tech defense has been even more impressive. These Senn Bulldogs have just had nowhere to run and no completed passes here through the first 15 minutes and change of play here at Lane Stadium.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way this roster was built, Alex. There's a 7 or 8 players on this team that are 2 or 3 sport athletes here at Lane Tech. So some great athleticism, some great understanding of team sports.
And that's really been helpful for Lane Tech heading into this season. As almost intercepted, and this will be intercepted. Ivy Thornborough is going to be taking her flag at around the 22-yard line, but 2 interceptions on 2 plays here for Lane Tech.
And a great catch by Ivy. She batted the ball up to herself, brought it back down and caught it. I'm not sure what the official measurement is, but Ivy Thornborough goes about 6 foot, 6'1". You're not throwing the ball over her head.
Yeah, she's about a head, maybe even more taller than I think any other player on either team right now for Lane Tech. So that is definitely helpful. I hesitated a second there for the interception call. As you said, she kind of batted that one away, but she hit it right to herself and was able to go in for the interception. So Lane Tech will have first down and goal from the Senn, looks like 17-yard line here. As Yulee's going to run to the right-hand side, is not going to rush. Instead, throws it to the end zone, and this one caught for, they'll see if they mark her down at the 1 or not.
At the 1, yeah.
At the 1. So Chloe Trotter found herself open again for the catch. And Lane Tech now looking to score their second touchdown in looks like about 2 minutes.
Yeah, so they just have to be cautious. 3:16 and counting. The clock continues to run. So, you have plenty of time to score here, but you don't want to get lose track of what the clock is doing.
There are some clock rules with about a minute left. They do stop the clock at incomplete passes and whatnot, but other than that, it will be a running clock here for the end of the first half as Yulee lines up. Trotter with a little bit of pre-snap motion there. Looking towards the end zone. This one right up the middle, caught. Third touchdown of the day here for Lane Tech. Looks like that one was caught by number 5, Evie Varga. So that's the third different receiver Lane Tech has scored with here today.
Yeah, impressive performance, and I think this is what Coach wanted, to come out early, establish your dominance. Now that unless you give up a big play that I don't see, you're going to get into the halftime with a 20, 21-point lead. Get some of the younger players in, a good number of sophomores on this team, so get everybody some experience.
Yeah, you mentioned this is a little different than what they saw on Tuesday against Schurz. Schurz was a little stronger out of the gate, more reminiscent of maybe that game 1 against Amundsen, where Lane Tech ended with the 40-point victory. 2-point conversion caught in the back of the end zone by Varga, so she gets the 6 points, and then she adds another 2 as Lane Tech now up to a 22-0 lead with 1 minute 50 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the game on Tuesday. The Schurz quarterback, as good as and as strong as arm as Marissa Yulee has, the Schurz quarterback was throwing the ball about 40 yards in the air, which is more than some of the tackle football guys or tackle football people that we've seen in CPL. So she had a really strong arm. Just Schurz couldn't put together a long drive to stay with Lane Tech. So this has been a great performance for the champions.
Yeah, they've been able to dominate on both sides of the ball, and looks like they'll just have to have one more defensive stand to go up by 22 into the halftime break. Still looking for that first completed pass here for Senn. Quarterback takes the snap, looking to her right and then to her left, throws this one caught right around the 30, and the flag pulled there quickly by Yulee, who's doing it on both sides of the ball. This one taken down around the 28.
Yeah, so I thought there was supposed to be a 1 minute warning, halftime warning, but the clock continues to run and we're down under a minute.
I did hear Coach Caroline Schwartz yelling up the instructions to the scoreboard operator, and she did not say that, so the chance there's just a little bit of a miscommunication here as quarterback takes run and will get her flag pulled, I think, just in front of the 40-yard line. Nice pull there by Zamaya Mack. We are seeing the legs from this Senn quarterback pretty good. She's speedy and able to get around the outside, and we'll see if they mark that as a first down. Looks like they will.
So the clock did stop now, Alex, at 40 seconds. One of the things Mack has to learn is that when she pulls the flag, she's got to stop running, because I really think she pulled that flag inside the 40-yard line, but she continued her momentum all the way out to about the 45.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw some of her teammates instruct her, just stop, back up a step if you can. Don't give them any extra yards.
Yeah, I know playing in gym class, we were always told, hold where you stand after pulling the flag. That's where the ball will get marked. So instead, this is going to go about to the 42-yard line for Senn. They'll have first down and 18 here, 40 seconds on the clock. They're going to hand this one off, and then they fumble the second handoff attempt, and this one will go back to around the 42.
Yeah, lots of room on that reverse end around. If the Senn runner had been able to get to the lane sideline, there was probably another 20 yards for her to go and be able to get out of bounds. But a timeout by somebody, Senn maybe.
We'll see if the referee calls it. Does not look like they did, so we will have a timeout with 36 seconds left. Seems like the key today for Senn to find the scoreboard is just going to be finding those run plays. And as you mentioned, there was a lot of opportunity on that last reverse. It'll be interesting to see if they try another reverse there, or if Lane Tech kind of learns to recognize those reverses and changes around their defense for the second half.
Stay at home. When you're playing a zone, you have a coverage area on this left side. When you see what the receiver lined up in front of you, you just need to stay there and wait for what's coming your way. And that way you're going to cut that off. Kind of like what we've seen Stephanie Hung do, just kind of dominate that middle like a good nose tackle. Nobody's getting past her. So what's the projection for this afternoon's tackle football homecoming game, Alex?
Should be a similar game to this one. At least that's what the stats show here. That will be Lane Tech and Hubbard coming up at 12 p.m. Also out here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Lane Tech definitely scheduled some games they're projected to win for homecoming, which is good. The last couple of years they've had some losses on homecoming, which definitely kind of defeats the purpose.
Right.
So they should be getting 2 wins in the win column here on this homecoming Saturday if everything goes according to plan for Lane Tech.
Well, it's a crossover game, right? So it's still a red conference game, just south and north.
Yeah, so it's not going to be the first conference game for Lane Tech. They don't do that until next Friday against Taft, but it will be another public league opponent who has been competitive in the last few years. As now with 36 seconds left, we'll see a couple more plays here from Senn, throwing to the right-hand side, and pulling the flag there is Yulee right in front of the 50. Looked like she struggled there for a second to get her hands on the flag, but finally was able to do it after a second or two.
Right, good thing she did, because the sideline was wide open down there for the Senn receiver, but you're down to 28 seconds, and there's another timeout, I guess, by Senn.
28 seconds to go in the half. That was kind of a rough spot there for the Bulldogs. Looked like they pulled the flag around the 48 or the 49, but it's going to be spotted here at the 46-yard line. So they'll be Second down and 14 yards to go for the Bulldogs here. 22-0, Lane Tech with the lead. I think this last minute of play has probably been longer than about the second half of the first half here with all the timeouts and stopped clock here. I think you get 2 timeouts per half, so this will be the last one here we assume was called by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I was going to comment how fast this is going, and unlike tackle football, there's been 8 possessions so far in this game, so it goes fast. You got to be ready, and the opportunity to strike quickly is there.
And Lane Tech made an excellent adjustment. Their longest drive was their least successful one. They were not able to score there on the first possession. But since then, they've scored a touchdown every single time. They made some really good offensive adjustments. The throws are more crisp. They were catching almost everything, and that's been really impressive here for Lane near the latter stages of the first half. As we'll see Senn take the field once again here. Second down and 14 from their own 46-yard line. They're going to run this one. Hong trying for the flag. Can't get it. Still on the sideline across the 40. And finally we'll get the flag pulled there at the Lane Tech 35-yard line. A very impressive run there from the quarterback.
And that's what we're talking about. We've talked about it a couple times. If you put 2 basically nose tackles or defensive ends on that line, then the quarterback doesn't have a chance to get that angle. And she just got the angle on Hong that time. And was able to pick up big yards. So third timeout. Not sure. We don't get an indication of who
called it, but
I'm not sure.
3 of the 4 combined timeouts for these 2 teams will have been called here. 19 seconds on the clock.
It looks like halftime. Looks like maybe there was some clock miscommunication. And the teams are going off. Lane Tech under the stadium here for halftime.
So kind of misfortune there for Senn. It will end up a 22-0 halftime score there. So it looked like Senn was calling timeouts to stop the clock, and they had about maybe 1 or 2 plays left to try to get in the end zone. That one was going to be around their Lane Tech 30-yard line, but it will end up being a 22-0 lead for Lane Tech heading into the half. Quite an impressive first half of play there for Lane here over the Senn Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely what Coach Schwartz wanted to do. Little different than the first 2 games of the season against Amundsen and Schurz. Now this kind of opens up the second half for you to try some plays that you might have just put in the playbook. Get some of those sophomores in the game that haven't played so much in the first 2 games.
It's hard.
But yeah. But yeah, so it's a good performance. Great for this third game of the inaugural flag football season. I think on Tuesday we just did a 2-minute halftime, so quick. They try and keep this moving along. There are a couple Saturdays in the future where Lane Tech plays doubleheaders.
I did see that. They have a 9 a.m. and a 10 a.m. game, and that's probably going to be one of the more competitive days for Lane Tech. They take on Jones at 9 a.m., Lincoln Park at 10 a.m. Those schools just traditionally have had somewhat successful sports programs. That's going to be a couple Saturday to circle. That's in 2 Saturdays. They take on North Grand next week, as we said, and then they have that doubleheader. And that's actually a part where Lane Tech's going to be playing 3 games in 3 days. Jones and Lincoln Park on the 24th, and then they were originally supposed to play Senn again on that Monday. I'm not sure if that's going to be switched now that they're playing them again, but
I think that's going to stand. I think Senn did us a favor today. So it's really odd that if they weren't already scheduled for a game today when their season would have started, because Lane would have had 3 games in after today and Senn still wouldn't have played. So I think that game's scheduled. So again, when I was looking for the conference, I think Senn's in conference, but this might be an out-of-conference matchup. So we'll have to see. We'll have to talk to Coach Schwartz after the game.
Okay, and as you said, about 50 teams here playing flag football for CPS. I really have no idea how the playoffs are going to work, but we'll see how those happen when the brackets come out in a couple of weeks. As of now, Lane Tech is set for probably a pretty high seed in the postseason as they try to run the table. All signs pointing to a possible 3-0 start. It will be Senn Bulldogs football to start off the second half here. As you mentioned, was a very quick halftime break here at Lane Stadium. So this game will probably be over in about 20 minutes or so, depending on how this half ends. as they're going to have a handoff to start off. They go with the reverse. That one works perfectly, heading up the middle, and that one will be taken down at about the 25. It looks like they started this half at the 25 instead of the 20, and they move it up here to the 26.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that.
So it'll be 2nd down and 14. We're just going off of the appearances of the players. You don't have the numbers, but it looked like there was a different player at quarterback there for Senn, and then who ran it was the player who was majority throwing and running the QB1 spot for Senn in the first half. So they are going with a couple of position changes for every play here, as quarterback takes a snap, is going to hand it off, and tried to break through there, but a nice snag there by Ivy Thornborough.
So if you look, Alex, when they line up the next time, it looks like Coach has moved Ali Vanna up closer to the line and more to the center of the field. So she didn't drop as deep when that ball was snapped. So she's got her eyes in the backfield along with Hung. And now you can see Ivy Thornborough up there also.
Yeah, so this is likely going to work a lot better here for Lane Tech versus when they had really only one person rushing in that first half. This one thrown and incomplete. Nice coverage there from both Trotter and right behind her, number 8, Sadia Rodriguez. Lane Tech's coverage has just been excellent here today.
Yeah, I think Trotter, we couldn't see her eyes, but I think she saw a pick 6 all the way for her second touchdown of the game. She broke on that ball really quickly, and it was just overthrown everybody. So this is going to be a punt, Alex.
Oh, okay. So we're going to see our first kick. And is it a traditional punt with your leg?
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be our first kick of the day. This one.
But it should be down where it hit the ground, I thought, but maybe not.
Liza McHale's going to get it, try to run here on the near sideline. Somehow doesn't have the flag pulled and is going to get across to around the 48 of the Senn Bulldogs.
Almost lost the entire flag belt right there.
Able to avoid a couple of, I guess not tackled. They almost were tackled. She was heading towards the ground, but instead it'll just be a flag pull. And Lane Tech will get possession for the first time in the second half. Looks like they are going to stick with Marissa Yulee at quarterback, even with the big lead. I'm not sure if Lane Tech has another quarterback on this roster.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who it would be. My sources haven't revealed who the backup quarterback might be, but you might see somebody late in this game just in case something happens to Marissa.
17:30 to go in the second half of play. Lane Tech with a 22-0 lead over the Senn Bulldogs. Yulee gets it in shotgun, throwing right up the middle. This one just off the hands there of Trotter. Would have been good for a first down there, but it's dropped here. I'm
sorry, Alex. She made the classic mistake, right? She let that ball get into her shoulder pads instead of getting out here and catching it with her hands. So she was open, a nice little route, but just got in and popped off where her shoulder pads would have been.
There's been a couple of plays here that have been shakier passes from Yulee. I don't think that was the case there. It was a really good pass from Yulee, but just slightly misplayed, and instead it's going to go 2nd down and 8 here for Lane Tech from the Bulldogs' 48-yard line. Yulee looking up the middle again. Now there's going to be a big throw and caught here, rushing towards the end zone, and that was number 6, Ali Vanna on the catch, and an excellent throw and catch there by Lane Tech.
Yeah, great job. And that's that same route we talked about early, that the things are deep over the linebackers, and because the safeties are coming up. Ali Vanna, another one of those two-sport athletes we were talking about. She's a senior lacrosse captain also. So you see that athleticism that's really benefiting Lane Tech right now.
And I didn't catch who it was, but it looked like Lane Tech had 2 players who were open in that same spot, so they were really able to find some open receivers downfield, and now they're going to have first down and goal from the Senn 18-yard line. As they try to continue their lead here, they're going to hand it off up the middle, and getting her flag pulled quickly was Florencia Fabian, who, as we mentioned, has been a manager a lot this year for Lane Tech, but with a couple of roster changes, she puts on a jersey for today's game, and she gets her first carry of the day. Yeah,
great job. And this is where you want to get everybody involved. You never know who you're going to need, what kind of plays you're going to run. You know, we've seen a little trickeration today, the end around run to Mack. That was a straight handoff. So having a lot of different ways to confuse the defense, make their eyes move is a great advantage.
2nd and goal from the 15. Yulee rolling to her right, and she's going to have her flag pulled for, I guess, a sack here. It looked like the defense rushed there really quickly, but is it once you leave the pocket?
So you're allowed 4 blitzes a game. So you can use them whenever, and that was one of those blitzes. So she had probably the bad play call. She's running a bootleg out to her right and just never had a chance. There was no receiver there. But, yeah, normally it's the 3 Mississippi, 3-second rush, however we refer to that. But then each team is allowed 4 blitzes per game, and that was what you saw right there.
So this is instead going to go for 3rd down and 23. Lane Tech needs to find the end zone. There's no first downs. This one shot to the end zone, caught for a touchdown.
Yeah, just you can see what a weapon Yulee is, being able to throw the ball 25 yards in the air. It was 3.
Yeah, so that was going to Eliza McHale with her 2nd touchdown reception of the day. That one, it went through a couple of Senn Bulldogs players. It was an excellently thrown ball, 23 yards, and Lane Tech now up 28. They can make it a 30-point lead if they go for 2 here, and it looks like they will. 14 minutes and counting here in the second half of play.
Yeah, great advantage, and you've seen the difference. The Senn quarterback, not real confident throwing the ball, more of a running quarterback. But with Yulee, you have somebody who can throw the ball 20, 25 yards. Gives you a great advantage.
And she is just so calm in the pocket that she's going to try to run in for 2 here and is going to get in there, it looks like, for the 2. I don't see a flag pulled there. And now Lane Tech should go up by 30. Yep. Yulee showing really a dual threat quarterback, throws for 23 yards and then rushes it for 8 for the 2-point conversion. And Lane Tech continues their offensive onslaught here.
Yeah, so 4 straight possessions that ended up in touchdowns, Alex.
And that was after just 1 possession that ended with a turnover on downs. As the offense is going to come on here for Senn.
And I think you're starting to see some different players come out now on defense.
Lane Tech does have a lot of 2-way players. It's very impressive here. I guess a little bit easier in flag football. Positions are somewhat similar on the offensive and defensive sides, but they've been very impressive here going with their 2-way players as they try to get as many players playing time as possible here. 12.5 minutes to go in the second half, and this time they are going to start at the 20, not the 25, it looks like, for Senn.
Everybody's kind of learning the rules as we go. But, yeah, I think CPL has done a really nice job promoting this. As you said, they started last year with 22 teams, expanded it to 50. There's even some teams as far as Rockford and in the Oak Park River Forest area that I think we're going to try and get some games with. Not yet an IHSA sport.
But, I mean, that seems like it could be right around the corner the way this is growing, as this one caught right around the 30 and the flag pulled pretty quickly there by Vanna. It's been, we see a lot of sports. I know girls lacrosse took a while to become IHSA sanctioned, girls wrestling, but it just seems the progress with this flag football has really boomed since it first came on the scene a year or 2 ago.
It's going really fast. I think the Bears Care organization is behind it a lot. CPL has obviously put a lot of time, money, and thought into it. All the girls are wearing concussion soft helmets. Logoed for CPL, the Senn team has Chicago Bears.
It's a very impressive operation as they're going to fake the handoff there. Some play action and almost caught there, but some nice coverage there by Vanna as we'll go for 3rd down and 9 here.
Yeah, interesting formation. They had 3 running backs, and they faked to all of them. Like, who has the ball? But, yeah, last year, Coach Nagy, I was reading an article, Coach Nagy, formerly head coach of the Bears, donated cleats to all the teams that played last year. I know that Nike has been a big sponsor of this. So,
yeah, I was actually watching an interview last night with one of the Senn players, Kyla Hillman, and they had a lot of those Bears donations last year. The whole team got cleats, as it's a nice run to around the 49 before the flag finally gets pulled there. So it will be a 1st down here for Senn. First time in a while they were able to get one of the first downs, and they'll have it now from their own 49-yard line. 10:25 to go in half number 2.
Yeah, so for that first weekend, that opening weekend that the CPL and Nike and the Bears put on, they invited Jen Welter, who was the first ever NFL female coach, to come, and she talked to the girls on Friday at the game And then there was a jamboree clinic training session that about 50 teams showed up for at Englewood STEM, and Jen was there along with a couple other players, and everybody got some lessons in football and what's going on.
So they do 2 handoffs here and then a throw up the middle, but this one intercepted. Running to the near sidelines, that's McHale again. She's still on her feet, and that's going to be her 2nd interception of the day. This one back to the Lane Sack 47-yard line. Quite a game here for McHale. 2 receiving touchdowns and 2 interceptions now for her.
Having a day on homecoming, so.
It'll be 9:30 now to go for Lane Sack. It seems every time that Senn has a couple of good plays, they just end up throwing an interception or something. They just have not been able to string multiple quality plays together here, and that's really hurt them here on this Saturday morning. Lane Sack will send their offense onto the field here once again. We'll have about 53 yards to go for a touchdown. One of the really important things for Lane Sack here today is they have not had many long fields. They've had great field position almost every single time, other than when they started the game at the 20-yard line. And that's led to some really quick possessions for Lane Sack, ending in touchdowns. As Yulee takes this one, looking to her right, throws up the middle, and this one goes right through the hands there of the receiver for Lane Sack and will drop for a 2nd down.
Yeah, just a little bit underthrown. Had the receiver open. If you could have gotten it all the way to her, it would have been another touchdown.
Of all the positives Lane Sack has had on this game, there obviously is still a couple of things they'll try to work on through their practice. I know they've been having very early morning practices here this season, early, so they can get on Lane Stadium and practice on this full football field, and it's paid off here with their 2 winning performances thus far. This one thrown up the middle, caught here by Michaela Brown. Open field, gets in for the touchdown. A 53-yard touchdown reception there from Brown. A beautiful pass there from Yulee, and Lane Sack, yet another touchdown here on the day.
Yeah, great route by Brown. She just ran a fly pattern basically, and perfect timing. Yulee hit her back foot, let that ball go. And a great high point hands catch by Brown, and she never broke stride going to that end zone.
It's going to be her 3rd receiving touchdown on the year. Brown's been one of the top touchdown recipients so far this year. She's 2nd on the team behind Krista Savova, who's not playing here today. So gives Brown a little bit of chance to catch up in the touchdown race for most receiving touchdowns on the year. I've seen those numbers must be high in the CPL leaderboards as well, as Lane Sack going for 2 here. Yulee throws up the middle, and this one just through the hands of the receiver. So Lane Sack will go with a 36-0 lead.
Yeah, collective gasp from the crowd. A reminder that this is still a contact sport. McHale was coming over the middle, and there was a cornerback coming the other way. And, fortunately they didn't collide, but that could have been a big collision right there.
We'll say there's actually been less contact than I was expecting with the physical nature of the sport, even with the flags. Players have done a pretty good job of staying off each other for today's game, as Senn will take over possession from the 20-yard line. Still looking to get on the scoreboard for the first time today. Just have at least 1 touchdown to show for, possibly, as it's going to be 6:22 to go and counting on the clock. Still a running clock in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the rules are. I know that the Amundsen game, they stopped at some point when it got to 44-0. So I'm not sure if it's a 40-point lead that they would, because normally in tackle football it's 30 or 35 depending on the time of the game.
As this one, a very nice flag pull there. It looks like from, can catch the number there who got the pull, but it will be a quick pull there for Lane Sack, and that will bring up 2nd down and about 16 now here. Looks like Lane may have changed around who is that front rusher here. I'm trying to
number
catch
8,
that.
maybe?
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be Sadia Rodriguez who's going to be the lead rush defender here for Lane Sack as we reach the 5:20 mark to go in the second half of play. They're going to hand this one off. Gets past Rodriguez running on the right-hand side, and a nice pull there by Marissa Yulee. right in front of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, the one thing we noted on Tuesday, too, that makes this game a little bit harder, I've always seen flag football played with 3 flags where you had one in the back. Here we're playing just left hip, right hip, so you're not going to chase somebody down and get a back flag. You got to go left or right. So that as that runner was going away from Yulee, a great opportunity for her to play the flag because she could have had the corner in another 10, 15 yards.
Yeah, talking with head coach Caroline Schwartz for this Lane Tech team, she said the main thing they're working on right now is just pulling flags. She said it's a lot harder than it looks like, and that's shown on a couple of plays here today as there's going to be a short throw incomplete here on 3rd down, and then we'll see a 4th down situation once again for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'm going to take away from this game today, Alex, is that as Lane Tech goes further into the season, you really have to have a quarterback who is a dual threat, who can throw the ball, because we've seen the speed that Senn has, but you're not going to run your way to a victory, I don't think, in this league. You're going to have a combination, somebody that can at least keep the defense honest, and if not throw the ball 20 yards like Yulee can, hit some short passes and keep the defense going that way.
Yeah, because if a couple of these passes had fallen for Senn, it could have been a very different game, as the reverse here gets across the 1st down and finally pulled around the 47-yard line. I think both of the flags got
somehow
pulled
Matt got both of them, which has got to be extra talented.
Oh, and they're going to mark her down all the way back at the 42. I saw the first flag pulled at around the 47, but they're going to mark her at the 42. It will be a 1st down and 18 here with 3:30 to go in the second half of play. 36-0 lead for Lane Tech over these Senn Bulldogs. Very impressive performance here for Lane, who are trying to keep up with the shutout. They've only given up 1 touchdown this whole season. As another short pass, this one almost batted away, but still rushing, and a fumble there, but they'll just mark her down at around the 42-yard line.
There's some of the contact you were looking for. An unintentional, just a trip over an open leg. But, yeah, Ruby Manis just went for the interception that time, which was the right play, and just couldn't get it. The receiver was able to pick up about 10 yards after the catch, and somebody took a timeout.
Yeah, they're going to mark her down at around the 45-yard line. Seems like with all this security on the sidelines at Lane Tech, they may as well make some of them referees. They've been moving down with the ball, and they usually have been marking it more accurately than the referee on a couple of occasions. But either way, there'll be 1st down and 5-yard line, 2nd down and 5 to go here for the Bulldogs after this timeout. As you mentioned, we don't know which team called it. I guess you could say Senn maybe called it for the offensive momentum, or Lane called it trying to slow down this momentum for the Bulldogs. But either way, each team will have a minute to talk things over. 2:33 left on the scoreboard. Lane Tech with a 36-0 lead over the Bulldogs as Lane Tech looks to kick off this homecoming Saturday with a big win. A lot of Lane's teams in action here today. I know there's some golf action, I believe, girls volleyball, both the football teams. Lane Tech looking for a lot of success here on this homecoming Saturday.
Yeah, get those games out early, get out of the way early so you can get home and get ready for the dance tonight.
We'll see 3rd down play here coming up for the Bulldogs. We have not had the downs and ball on part of the scoreboard on here for this flag football game, but other than that, it's been very helpful to have a working scoreboard for this game as Bulldogs quarterback looking straight to her right, throws a screen pass, and getting it right at the line of scrimmage there is going to be Sadia Rodriguez. A nice pull there for the junior.
Yeah, great. She took a great angle on that play, used the sideline as another defender, and just the running back receiver ran out of places to go, and a great flag pull. And that, you said, it's not as easy as you look. And I can probably think of just 2 or 3 flag pulls that have been missed by Lane Tech today. So even when Senn gets a completed pass or gets a run, there hasn't been extra yards because of missed tackles, missed flag pulls.
So I believe this should be a 4th down here for Senn with about 6 yards to go, so they can run it with the quarterback since it's over 5, I believe. It's going to be a pass up the middle, almost intercepted. Nice bat away there by Brown, and
see what they do, see what's going on. Looks like Senn's going to keep the ball.
Okay, I thought they had started at around the 41 and then pass in 2 plays, but they're going to say it'll be 4th down, and the Bulldogs will get one more chance at it here with 80 seconds to go in the ball game. See, they'll probably stop the clock for the last minute like we did see in the first half. However, in the first half, we did have the game end early, as we're going to see a third running back run up the middle, and a nice pull there. She got both her flags pulled there from Vanna, and it looks like maybe Brown there right next to her. But either way, it'll be a short pickup for the 1st down. It's once again very interesting with that 3 running backs behind the quarterback. They faked it to 2 of them, and this time they actually gave it to 1.
We'll have to see if we can get that formation in tackle football. Kind of just a modified wishbone, right? I mean, that's all it is.
Might see some plays like that later in the tackle game for Lane Tech, as it'll be 1st down and 19 from the Lane Tech 39-yard line. A minute on the clock. The clock did stop at a minute, as they're going to go for a short pass there, caught. And this one will be pulled quickly here by number 20, Maggie Yost. Bright spot here for Senn has been they've at least been completing some passes here.
Right.
And Lane Tech's obviously a pretty strong team, but these definitely could work against some other CPL opponents. So we could see Senn string along some wins in the later part of this season. 2nd down here from the 36, another short pass, but this one bounces a little too short, and we'll get to 3rd down, 46 seconds now to go here in the 2nd half of play.
So it almost looks like the clock stops after every play under a minute?
I think it is. Our original thought was it was after every incompletion. That one wasn't incompletion, so that one makes sense. But
they've run 2 plays in
14 seconds.
14 seconds, yeah. Right?
The 3rd down here for the Bulldogs. They fake the handoff, run up the right-hand side, but a nice pull there once again by Rodriguez. We didn't see much out of her in the first half. They've moved her to this rushing role in the 2nd half, and she's done a great job as, I guess you could say, the backup to Sophie Hong.
Yeah, so the clock stopped again, but much like the first half, I wonder if the referee is keeping it on the field. Yeah, so he just called the game with 38 seconds. So I think it's just a clock error.
So that will be the end of this one. Lane Tech with another dominating performance. 30
timeout. Maybe. Like the coach isn't running onto the field calling for a timeout, so I'm not sure. All right, let's play for 38 more seconds.
Okay.
Here comes the tackle football squad.
Senn's still meeting on the field, so they think there's some more playing time. And it looks like Caroline Schwartz is meeting with her defense right now, so we should have a 3rd or 4th down play here coming up for Senn with 38 seconds left to go in this one. And looks like Senn's putting their offense on the field, so we will see a couple more plays here. I'm guessing it was Senn who called that timeout. I can't imagine why Lane Tech would have called one there, but
who knows, right?
Who knows? From the 32-yard line now here for Lane Tech, for Senn. Looking up the middle, they're going to go for a pass. A couple of interception opportunities there, and that one, I think, ended up getting caught. It's a nice flag pull there quickly by Anita Crejo, however. And I think they might call the game now with 31 seconds. Looks like both teams heading off the field now. And now I think we can confidently say a 36-0 win for Lane Tech here over the Senn Bulldogs to start off this homecoming Saturday. A very impressive win here for Lane.
Yeah, another 5-touchdown performance, 5-touchdown performance by Marissa Yulee. 19, 4, 3, 23, and 53-yard touchdown passes. So great job by her. Eliza McHale, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdown passes. Chloe Trotter got her first touchdown reception. So, I think the performance that Coach Schwartz would want out of this team on their first homecoming day.
Yeah, a very diverse skill set. They had some rushes. Passing still seems to be the most impressive part for this Lane Tech team, but they found a lot of different receivers here today, and just overall exactly what you would want as Lane Tech marches on to a 3-0 record to start off this 2022 season. Now we finally have the clock ring to close out this game, but the players high-fiving at the end of midfield. An excellent win for this Lane Tech squad. Some final thoughts here, Tony?
I think exactly what they needed to do. Now they're going to have a week of 5 a.m. practices to get ready for Grand High School next week over at Horner Park. And like any program in any sport, you want to build to that middle of October, be ready for the playoffs. So the challenge now is finding some competitive games, right? You don't want to get to the second and third weeks of October having won games 32 to nothing. You want to have some 14-7, 21-14 games. Challenge yourself, be ready. Find out of your 21 players who can do what and who can be ready at any minute. So,
yeah, we'll see if that first test is next Saturday, as you mentioned, a 2 p.m. start against North Grand High School over there at Horner Park. But that's just about going to do our coverage here today for Game 1 of the homecoming doubleheader. For Tony McHale, my name's Alex Burstein. Your final score from Lane Stadium, Lane Tech 36, Senn 0. Good night.